Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome back to the Rock Nerd Radio Show here on YouTube. Today, we are taking it back to the 90s as we are going to look at the new Marvel Legends Marvel 85th Anniversary Danny Ketch Ghost Rider.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
So like I just said, we are taking a look at the new Marvel Legends Marvel 85th Anniversary Danny Ketch Ghost Rider figure. And we're going to start by looking at the figure because, of course, this is a deluxe figure. He does come with a big old motorcycle. He clocks in at $50, and he is currently still available on Hasbro Pulse, at least he was as of when I was starting to film this video. So this is what the figure looks like. You can see it is very much reminiscent of the Danny Ketch costume. Just the black leather jacket, the gray biker jeans, the boots, of course, spikes everywhere on his wrists, on his boots, on his knuckles, on his shoulders. Kids loved spikes in the 90s. What can I say? And I loved spikes in the 90s. I loved this Ghost Rider figure. We're going to bring him a little closer to the camera to go over some of the details on this figure. Now, one thing I want to say right off the bat is I was talking to a friend of mine, actually my co-host on the podcast, my friend Vinny, and he was saying that something about this figure bothers him, and he couldn't put his finger on it. And then I mentioned something, and he said, yeah, that's it. They did with this figure what they've been doing with every other Ghost Rider figure, where it is a flaming skeleton on top of a ball joint. I'm actually going to pop it off real quick so you can see. You know, we have this translucent ball joint here on the neck. It doesn't really move. There's not a lot of movement. Actually, there's no movement there. And we have this head on top of it. And the reason why this was bothering Vinny, and even me to a degree, is because in the comics, Danny Ketch Ghost Rider was really drawn as just kind of being a floating head completely engulfed in fire. So this is, I guess what the action figure technology, what we're up to with it. We do have the flames coming out of the neck. We do have flames on top. But when this character was drawn, it really was more flames everywhere. So I don't know if someone can 3D print or cast some kind of clear flame piece that would go all around his head while also not inhibiting the little bit of neck articulation that he has. But that would probably make this character look a little more like the comics to me. At least that's how I remember him being drawn in those early appearances. I'm sure as different artists came, he was drawn in different ways. But looking at this figure for his paint and details, you can see there's some nice shading on the skull. We have these nice brown lines around the eyes that look pretty cool. Some nice shading there on like the cracks and crevices. The fire does still look pretty cool, even for my complaining about it. And we see the nose is there in black, but we do see that his eyes are painted inside the skull, so you do get some neat paint detail inside the skull. The mouth detail looks pretty good as well. Of course, if you open the mouth up, you can see his neck joint, but that is something. Moving down to the main body on this figure, you can see the nice, indents for the leather jacket, or the sculpting for the leather jacket. This would be like a biker jacket, a motorcycle jacket would be. Good way to like have the leather pattern done up. Cool spikes on the shoulders, 3 on each, so it is even on each. We have his chain going around the figure, and this does follow all the way around. Continuing with that sculpting on the back of the figure as well. Nice ruffles in the jacket. Nice ruffles in the arms as well. So looking at the arms, you can see they're sculpted with those ruffles for the jacket. Like, it's not skin tight. It is definitely a flowing jacket or something that has some movement to it. Looking down at each arm, we do see that there are the spiked kind of gauntlets here on the wrist, which look very nice. On this hand, he does have like a spike, I don't know, knuckle protector. So that is on this hand. The hand that he is currently sporting doesn't have anything on it. We will be talking about the hands as we go, but I do believe he was drawn where his left hand didn't have anything. I believe. We'll talk about it. Nice spiked chain belt. Chain going around the side of it, as you can see, connects it. In the 90s, we had a chain connecting to our wallet. But even just looking at these pants, speaking of wallets, he does have pockets sculpted on his butt. But the pants look like pants. There's even a fly there. So moving on down, the pants, again, not being skin tight, they are sculpted in ways that look like they are fabric, bunched up at the knees. I really do like that. And then getting down to the boots, we do have some more or less common Marvel Legends boots here, but there is this spike piece going around the boot. This is not sculpted on. This piece can move if you want it to, so there is an indent for it, so let me pull this down again so you can see. You can see the indentation around here, and if the light hits it just right, there we go. So it will stay in place. It's not going to be all floppy like the old Jim Lee Cyclops like leg bands that would always fall down. So yeah, it is staying in place. He does look really cool. In terms of his articulation, I already showed you the ball joint inside the skull here doesn't move. So the head is a little limited with what you can get. You can still get a little bit of wiggle and waggle and some up and down. Not a ton, but it's there. In terms of the body, we do have rotation and ab crunch, forward and back. I'm already playing with the arms, but the arms will go out about that far. They will go fully around. You may hit the shoulder pad on the jacket, but it gets out of the way easy enough. We do have rotation up there at the shoulder as well. Double jointed pinless elbow, so you get some deep bend. And with these hands that he's currently sporting, this hand will twist, and you do have in and out movement. With this hand, on the other arm, with this hand we do have in and out movement as well. So that is something to take note of. In terms of the legs, they're going to kick out pretty far forward, kind of back. Actually, not back at all. I don't know why I said kind of back. They do have slight drop down hips. There's a slight drop to these. That's going to come into play later, but both of them do that. We have thigh rotation, double jointed pinless knee. Knee goes up pretty far. Boot rotation. We also have the ankle that will go up and down and side to side. We have a nice pivot there. So, what you've come to expect for a Marvel Legends. He's going to move like one. I don't know how crazy dynamic posing he's going to get to, because he does come with a big old motorcycle that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But I am going to quickly show him off with another Ghost Rider figure, because a couple people have pointed this out. This is the retro card Ghost Rider that for a while I was kind of treating as my Danny Ketch, because I do have the Johnny Blaze with the cycle. And this is a little shorter than the retro card one. And of course, this is also the Legendary Rider one. There is a height difference here. So this Ghost Rider does come off looking a little short. It is a bit of a bummer. I'm not going to lie about that one. It does kind of make me sad that he's not standing, skull to skull with the other Ghost Rider. It's something that I can kind of live with, because he's mostly going to be on the bike that we're going to be talking about in just a moment. But he's not terrible, but I feel like he could have been better. In terms of accessories for the figure, much like the Ghost Rider you just saw, he does have this fire whip. And somebody made a really good point. All of us tend to pose him where he's holding the fire, or not whip, chain, holding the chain like this with fire at the end of it, but the Hellfire would be coming from his body. So in a way, it would make sense to have him holding the chain like this, where the fire is coming, at the base of it, because he's holding it. And now that I've realized that and thought about that, I think that might kind of be the way that I display it, because it wouldn't make sense that the end of the chain is on fire when it's attached to his body, but that's me. In terms of other accessories, this Ghost Rider also has two other hands. Now, he does have a fist for the right hand, and as you can see, we continue with the spike detail there. And he has this more open hand for the left hand. In terms of, he can't hold the chain like this. And in terms of the motorcycle, if you want both hands on the handlebars, I would feel like the hands that he's currently sporting would be the best. So, you got to play with it. You got to kind of make up your own mind about what you think is going to look good on your display. But so, that is more or less all about this Ghost Rider. I think now it is time to take a look at his motorcycle. So here is the new Ghost Rider's motorcycle in all of its glory, and I've seen a lot of people putting in, whether it be heavy construction paper or something, to give these like a yellow headlight look, because in the comics, it was like a yellow headlight. It wasn't just a clear see-through piece, but it does look really cool. I'm glad we finally got this bike in Hasbro Marvel Legends form. But just going around, it more or less is mostly flat plastic. There is a lot of paneling details which do look cool, and some sculpt work there on the part that goes out to the wheels. I put the leg stand here, or the foot stand. You can also put it here in the front. But so that's going to, your mileage is going to vary there. But we do have a sculpted seat. We do have that cool pennant which was something in the comics. I don't remember what anymore, but the handlebar will also turn left and right a little bit, so you can adjust as needed. And yeah, it does look fairly cool. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it looks bad. But the real star of this package, I think, with the motorcycle is that there's a lot of other details in it. And I do want to point out real quick, there's a lot of cool detail on the front of the motorcycle too. But there's a lot of cool detail that you can hook up to this motorcycle to make it really cool. One of them being this little fire stand piece. And there is a little notch right here. Is the light hitting it? There you go, right there where my finger is. And you can stick this fire piece in, and then you have the motorcycle popping a wheelie, which I think looks really, really neat. And then on top of that, we have additional pieces, so you can make this look like there's fire coming off the wheels however you want to. So there's another fire piece here. You can see that groove, that opening, and you can just stick the wheel in it with a little bit of a push. Actually, there are two of these, so I'm sorry, this is the back one. So you can stick the wheel in that, so it does look like there's a fire trail coming off of it. If you don't want it to look like it's popping a wheelie, you can just have both of these here. So now you have the cool fire effects, and they do hold this bike in place. It's not going to fall down now. I kind of like it in the air. I do think that looks really cool, but all of these effects look neat. And if you want to give it some additional air, you can, once again, you can plug in the stand, put this piece here, and you can kind of finagle this piece onto that. So now you have the bike going even higher, which is a cool look. It looks like there's like fire coming out of the bike itself, which I do think looks really neat. And so here is Ghost Rider on his motorcycle, looking very, very cool. He is holding on with both hands right now, but if I wanted to, I could take one hand off and have him hold his fire chain here, which if I do that, it's going to look something like this as I drop things live on camera. But there we go, you know, he can hold it way above his head. It's not a super tight grip, so I do notice that the chain tends to kind of flop if it's not balanced well. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be staying in that position that I just put it in. It would be nice if it did. But yeah, so this is the Marvel Legends Danny Ketch Marvel 85th Anniversary Ghost Rider. Definitely a character I've been waiting for a while, especially since we've gotten so many just Johnny Blaze figures. This was something I really wanted to add because Danny Ketch was my introduction into Ghost Rider. So this was the one that kind of kicked off my love for some horror-type Marvel characters. And, you know, I didn't plan on waiting this long to review this. I did get this guy back in August, I want to say. Literally, as I'm recording this, I got the notification that FedEx just dropped off the entirety of the Blackheart Build-A-Figure wave. So expect to see this guy probably a few more times throughout the coming weeks, because I'll probably review him and Blackheart and all the rest of that, or I'll probably compare him with Blackheart and the rest of that wave as the month goes on. So let me know your thoughts about this Ghost Rider figure down in the comments below. And if you got it, if you're planning on getting it, if you're playing clearance chicken, I'd love to know. And until next time, I've been Dan. You've been pretty awesome. I'll see you around. Well, there we go. What did you think of this video? Sound off in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Remember, we are making a push to get to 700 subscribers here on the channel. If we do that before the HasLab Giant Man arrives, I will be giving away the old Toy Biz Giant Man Build-A-Figure that you've seen on my shelf and things like that. So hit subscribe, leave a comment, hit like if you're so inclined, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.